Hello everybody and welcome to the Murder Mystery Book Club. Our title for today, Thursday, July 1st, is Children of Chicago by Cynthia Pelayo. This is a quick and friendly spoiler warning that discussion past this point and in the comments of the video post will include spoilers for the novel. If you haven't yet read it, copies are available through the library's Hoopla database. The novel begins at a crime scene where a young woman has been shot in Humboldt Park, Chicago. Responding Detective Lauren Medina has a personal connection to that scene, as years ago her younger sister Marie was found drowned in the lagoon in that same park, while Lauren herself was found later wandering around with no memory of the incident. Found at the scene of the shooting is graffiti reading Pied Piper. While Detective Medina is investigating the case, a young girl named Evie, who is also studying Grimm's fairy tales in her class, finds herself slowly drawn into a plot with the promise of being able to dispose of all her problems. The biggest problem in Evie's life right now is a classmate named Daniel. Though he believes that they are friends, Evie would do anything to remove him from her life. As the story continues, auditory and visual events start to take place around Detective Medina, though it's unclear if these are actual hallucinations of a troubled mind or supernatural. Pied Piper graffiti starts appearing across the city of Chicago with demands that all debts be paid to the Piper. It's not long before Detective Medina is called to a crime scene, where Daniel is found dead, drowned in the lagoon at Humboldt Park, while Evie has sustained massive injuries and is transported to a local hospital. The two young teens who had lured Evie into asking the Piper for help have fled the scene but are quickly picked up by police. As they're interrogated, more supernatural events occur and their story seems impossible to believe, as they're more afraid of the Piper coming for them than they are of any retribution from law enforcement. As the two young teens had not paid their debt to the Piper, he tracks them down and takes their lives in payment, the forces of a secure psychiatric hospital and juvenile detention facility unable to stop him from claiming them. It's revealed that an early edition of the Grimm's fairy tales, held at the Newberry Library in Chicago, has a page within it that contains a rhyme which can be used to summon the Pied Piper. Once summoned, the Pied Piper performs a favor, removing an enemy from your life, but in return you owe him a debt. That debt is another life. Unknown to the summoner, that debt will never be fully repaid, as the Pied Piper returns time after time demanding another life. If those demands are not met, the Piper will claim the life of the summoner in payment. Years ago, while on a school field trip to the Newberry Library, Lauren herself had found that page and used it to summon the Piper. Jealous of her sister Marie, her favor from the Piper was that the young woman be removed from her life, and so she was, drowned in the lagoon at Humboldt Park. Since then, however, the Piper has continued to demand his blood payment. Lauren deduces that the reason why the Piper killed the two teenagers was because they had actually failed to kill anyone and therefore not paid their debt. The actual killer must be the only survivor from that evening, Evie. Lauren visits Evie in her hospital room and reveals that she knows Evie is the one who actually killed Daniel, holding his head under the water until he drowned. Lauren demands that Evie provide her with a page from the book in an effort to destroy it and stop the Piper once and for all, but Evie reveals that she has already scanned and uploaded it to the internet, where now billions of people have the ability to summon this monster. In the end, the best friend of the original victim decides to take his own life in Humboldt Park in an effort to stop this insanity. Lauren confronts him at the park, begging him to put his weapon down and to come with her, that they'll find another way to bring an end to the Piper's reign of terror. However, when her partner arrives on the scene and witnesses the young man holding a gun, he opens fire. During that brief exchange of gunfire, both the young man and Medina's partner are shot and killed, while Medina herself suffers from a hallucination that she has been gravely injured and is sucked under the water of the lagoon by the Piper's previous child victims. When the first responders arrive, it is revealed that Medina is uninjured, but deeply traumatized by the events, and the knowledge that she initially summoned the Pied Piper and will now be forced to continue killing for him unless she can find a way to stop him. Overall, this was not one of my favorite novels. As I was reading the novel, I almost felt as rather that it was two books pushed together, each suffering for not being able to stand alone. Though more of a horror story than a murder mystery, the idea of the Pied Piper being a genuine demonic entity and wreaking havoc on a major city was fascinating. However, the characters never seemed particularly three-dimensional or fleshed out. The mystery of the Pied Piper suffers from a lack of conclusion and any genuine evidence-based discovery. Although they dig deeper into the history of the Pied Piper story itself and theorize what kind of entity the Piper itself may be, it's never clear exactly what steps, if any, they may take to destroy him. In the end, our characters merely react to the Piper's actions, and there's nothing given on what, if anything, can be done to take proactive steps to stop him. Scattered throughout the novel are small expositional nuggets of Chicago history and crimes, which are fascinating in their own right and could have been a great story put together as a non-fiction piece. I think it's described best in a quote from page 252 in response to the idea of why an entity like the Pied Piper would be drawn to Chicago. It reads, quote, "It likes those dim places where the light barely penetrates. Those sunless places welcome suffering. Chicago makes a good temporary home. There's suffering enough here, which is why that symbolism could work in this city. This is the home of the once largest stockyards on the planet. The world's hog butcher, they called Chicago, where millions of animals were slaughtered. Millions of pounds of animal innards, skin, and waste were dumped in the Chicago River. The river forever turned a murky green. Bubbly Creek it was called then and now, because the decomposition of animal remains left there produced gases that bubbled to the surface, producing a stench that stretched across the city. The sick smell of death infected everything and everyone from that river and still does. There's something about that, about Chicago, about this infection, about it being a consistent host to horrible things, that it just continues to breed horrible things. The Fort Dearborn Massacre, Chicago Fire, Eastland Disaster, Camp Dearborn, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, numerous serial killers. It's as if Chicago is the perfect setting for a dark fairy tale." End quote. For me, that quote sums up the non-fiction book hidden within the pages of Children in Chicago. Chicago has a fascinating history, and it would have been very interesting to see those events played next to the idea of the city acting as sort of a nexus point for darker paranormal energies. All the traumas of its past compounding upon each other as they continue to attract new dark forces. I truly feel that this would have been much stronger had it been separated out into two books: the murder mystery story of the Pied Piper killings, and the dark underworld of Chicago, examining how those events may tie together and continue to influence events of today. But these are just my thoughts, and I really want to know what you guys think. Were you a fan of the novel? Were you intrigued by the idea of Chicago having a seeming magnetism for dark forces? Do you think the book would have been served better without the supernatural angle and having it being a human as the killer rather than a demonic entity? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section of this video. I can't wait to hear what everyone thought. Don't forget to stay tuned to the library's website and social media for the most up-to-date information on our upcoming programs and events. We've got a lot of great things planned, and I can't wait to see everyone at the next event. Bye!